Yo, what's up, guys? It is your boy Snackayy. This time I will be reviewing. Of course, there are spoilers, so this is your time to turn off the video if you haven't seen it for yourself already. I think you're going to be pretty shocked for the One Piece live action. Never in my wildest dreams would I think I would watch a live action of an anime, especially it being One Piece, but that is what hype does. I'm going to say this right now. I feel like the show has a little bit of something for everyone, right? Even if you're completely new to the series, or if you have some background in it, or if you have some background in it, if you watch up to it daily or read it. They change like a little bit of things for the pacing for like TV and stuff like that, and I think that's also like why it works, because I do feel like One Piece is way too slow, especially in the beginning. I stopped like around 80 episodes, so. And yeah, I feel like all the parts that were covered in this live action was like over a decade ago. So and since I haven't like rewatched it or super religious fan, I don't really remember everything. But I think I remember like the main parts. So episode 1, right? They introduce Luffy. They basically show him meeting up with Zoro, stuff like that. So everything there is kind of the same. The creator Oda, he also like had his input for this, so everything that is changed or whatever, he basically okayed it. So for you die-hard fans, it's okay, guys. You can breathe. And I do like that, because like I said, it's way too slow-paced, the anime or manga. So right here, I like the fact that they changed when Zoro was receiving food from that little girl. So in the manga or anime that I watched, Zoro is basically already on a cross in a naval marine base, and this little girl is like trying to give her onigiri, and then he gets stopped, and then Luffy like comes along, sees the food on the floor, and then he's like, hey, feed that to me, right? I feel like the TV version, it hits a little bit more because it shows the fact that even though this guy's like a badass and stuff like that, and like he didn't owe this little girl anything, right? But he still chose to eat the food and make an ass out of the Marines, knowing that full well he was gonna get in trouble for it. But he stood by his code. It's very important because everyone has a code in the One Piece or the Straw Hat crew, and they all continue to live by it, right? That's how these characters are, and they won't stand for any of that BS, which is why they're pretty lovable. Well, except for Usopp. I don't like Usopp. I'm not sure who likes Usopp, but yeah. I like the fact that the live action did Buggy differently as well. I don't remember Buggy ever being a threat in the anime, and I love the change that they did to him, like when Nami, Luffy, and Zoro got captured, and then Nami broke free initially and ran out of the tent, and then she saw that like the whole town was destroyed and everything. It really made it nice and grounded, because you could see like the true threat that Buggy is, and then the fact that Buggy also tried to drown Luffy with seawater. I don't think I've ever seen anyone really try to do that in the show when I watched, so that was really cool. And then the next arc is Usopp. I feel like they did everything pretty close to the anime that I recall. I just didn't like the fact that the Luffy fight with Captain Kuro was a little bit too simple, to be honest, because Captain Kuro was giving Luffy a run for his money. He was like he was a serious threat. He was a serious threat. He was gonna kill Luffy, at least from what I remember. But then here in the live action, they just show how fast Kuro is, but then for some reason he stands still, and then Luffy just closes his eyes and he hits him like 3 times, and then he wins. It's kind of ridiculous. I kind of feel that for all the fights in this live action. I understand like how much the CGI can cost and everything like that, and just fighting is just half of the show, right? Because you're here for seeing the relationships and like how people interact and stuff like that. But at the same time, like I feel like when people watch a genre like this, right, a shonen, at least me personally, maybe 80%, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, we're here to see the big fights. And there's not really any crazy big fights that happen here. Like the choreography that is good when it's like fighting, it'll be with Zoro, and I guess you know that's easier to do because he has swords and stuff like that compared to making all that work of this one guy saying gum 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 gum, right? And he just drags all around the island and hits people. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, the fights are like a little bit too simple, especially for Luffy, because I remember when he first fought that female pirate with the club. He was just like, he wasn't phased at all. And then the buggy fight was cool as well. Like I said, I really like the fact that they did him differently here, and he actually seemed like a threat. I'm not even gonna, yeah, just look up the anime and like how the first encounter of Bungie is. It was absolutely terrible. I really liked the chef from Barate, Zeph, and I do like Sanji as well. I feel like if they use like 5 more minutes to stretch out the origin story, because I do think he probably has one of the best origin stories, Sanji. At least from what I've seen and watched. It's really cool. But they didn't have enough time to like flesh it out. I also know that they changed some of the parts. So Sanji in the TV show, he sees like this pirate, he feeds him food, and then he just goes on his merry way, right? But then in the anime, Sanji feeds that same pirate. That pirate is full. He goes back to his crew, and then they all like attack the island and or attack the restaurant. And they like try to hijack him and stuff. I feel like I understand why they changed it. In fact, it was really cool to have Mihawk destroy those same pirates. But I feel like what the show is lacking is the fact that it's not showing that pirates are truly as big of a threat as they should be, right? Like, other than the fact with Buggy, like throughout the show, especially like Nami, she keeps saying she hates pirates. Everyone else, like, they say they hate pirates, right? They all just like put this brand. You'd be like, oh yeah, Luffy's just a pirate. He's not good. How could he be good, right? But then we see what he does and how he says there's 2 different kinds of pirates, right? He always iterates that throughout the whole show. I just feel like hopefully in season 2, which was already been announced that it's coming. I wish they would show like more like the darker sides of the anime, because this One Piece isn't like always like laughs, right? It does get serious, and I just didn't really get the feeling of that. Maybe it's to like bring in like a new audience and stuff like that, and then like slowly wheel them into it. But yeah, there are serious themes in this show, and I just didn't feel like it was really shown here. It just shows like pure happiness, like Luffy just being a dumbass idiot. And honestly, they casted him really well. Like, I truly do feel like he's Luffy. Goda said that himself. He just has like this real like genuineness to him, you know? It's not even like say charisma, like even though he's just smiling and like an idiot, and he's like, I'm gonna be king of the pirates, and I'm like, after like the 5th time, I still didn't get old of hearing that. So he did a really good job there. Yeah. They finally got to Nami, and then like I watched up to that part in the anime, so I know like her whole shtick and everything. She was good. I feel like her origin story was probably the longest compared to everyone else, right? Because there was like 2 whole episodes like dedicated just for her, and then they still didn't even go to Arlong Park. I do know that they showed Garp a little bit early. I don't remember him ever like being introduced that early. But I guess that's also what they changed and adapted for the TV show. Overall, he's pretty cool. I don't really know much about him because he comes like way later. But I guess it works out alright, to be honest. It just doesn't really make any sense because what he said, he was like testing Luffy and stuff like that. But then he just grabs all these these cadet Marines, right, from the Axe Hand base, and he's like, yo, we're gonna go chase this criminal. And obviously he's very high ranked and everything, so no one ever like questions him other than Kobe. I'm not sure why he has such a soft spot for Kobe. I don't know what the relationship is further on, but I also really couldn't take the actor seriously because of the glasses. I kept thinking it was like Harry Potter. It has nothing to do with their acting, whatever. But yeah, I know Kobe has like a very important, he has like a decent part in the One Piece thing. I've seen like clips and stuff like that. It's kind of alright. Yeah, we'll love to see what season 2 is going to be up to and like what they shave off or like what they change. But I think it's definitely worth a watch. One Piece live action review. I'll definitely give it a I'll give it like a 7.75 out of 10. Still really good. And I feel like for adaptations, people need to remember, even if they change the source material or actors have a different interpretation of a character, as long as someone's enjoying it or it's well received, stuff like that, I think they've succeeded. And I definitely do think that the One Piece live action succeeded in the fact that me, knowing damn well there's like a 1,500 One Piece manga chapters or like 1,200 episodes, I actually thought about starting it just because it's live action. Even though it's completely different, right? The fact that an adaptation is making you go back to the source material makes it a success. And growing up, I never used to believe that, right? Like people would say like, hey, why is there an anime? Or like, why did it get canceled? And it'd be like, oh, they just ran out of funding and the anime is just meant to make you buy the manga. And I truly felt that for this. I was like, oh, wow, I might actually give One Piece a chance. It's still going to take like 3 to 5 years to actually complete from this day forward. But, now I'll actually think about it. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.